In 2137, the galaxy was torn apart by a brutal war between four species: the humans, the reptiles, the Sirians, and the Greys. Prior to the Great Galactic Wars as they were known, the galaxy had been ruled somewhat peacefully among the different species. Though each had its own minor conflicts here and there was relative peace. However, that all changed in 2137.
SOV, short for Systemic Orbital Value, was the backbone of the galactic economy at this time. SOV is a deflationary and immutable currency that eventually, after many problems with other currencies, was chosen for virtually all intergalactic trade. From food and water to weapons and technology, it didn't matter.
If it was one species trading with another, it was the only trusted medium. The different species had very different ideas about what constituted wealth, but they all understood the value of SOV. It is crazy to think, but SOV was initially given away for free in late 2019 and traded relatively cheaply for years. However, given time, the nature of deflation, and the inability for anyone to alter the currency, it created more and more demand for SOV.
SOV became increasingly scarce. As the value of SOV continued to rise, the tensions between different species began to grow. It was clear that whoever controlled the most SOV would have a significant advantage in the struggle for power. The humans were the first to feel the effects of the shortage. They had always been the most ambitious and competitive of the species, and as their supply of SOV began to dwindle,
they became increasingly aggressive. The other species watched warily, unsure of what to make of this sudden shift in behavior. The reptiles, with their cold-blooded nature, were the next to feel the effects of the SOV shortage.
They'd always been a species that valued order and stability, but as the value of SOV continued to rise, they began to see the humans and their volatile nature as a threat. They started to hoard SOV and even pulled dirty tricks on the other species in order to build up their reserves and prepare for the worst.
The Sirians, always known for their intelligence and strategic thinking, were the last to be affected. They saw what was happening before most and knew that the war was inevitable. They began to form alliances with other species,
hoping to find a way to prevent the conflict from spiraling out of control, but most importantly, to retain their SOV and position of power in the galaxy. The Greys, with their advanced technology and scientific knowledge, were caught in the middle. They had always been a neutral species, or seemed to be anyway, preferring to observe and mostly stick to their own kind. But as the situation grew more dire,
they too began to prepare for war, and even resorted to interspecies telepathic espionage, which they had explicitly agreed to never do to the other powerful species of the galaxy. As the value of SOV continued to increase, it became more and more difficult
for the species to obtain it. As the tensions rose, the different species began to blame each other for the shortage of SOV. The humans accused the reptiles of hoarding the currencies, while the Sirians blamed the Greys for manipulating the market. The Greys, for their part, denied any wrongdoing,
but their insistence on maintaining the status quo only served to further inflame tensions until the boiling point was reached in late 2137 and war finally broke out.
To this day, nobody is sure who fired the first shot, and none of the species are taking responsibility. As the Great Galactic War raged on, each species became convinced that SOV was the key to victory and maintaining their galactic status, and they were willing to do anything to achieve it. Battles were fought across the galaxy, with entire planets and even solar systems being destroyed in the process, and immeasurable suffering on all sides. In the midst of all this chaos, there were a few individuals who saw the futility of the war. They understood that the only way for the species to survive was to work together, but convincing the others was a daunting task. One of these individuals was a human named Zivus. He had been a soldier in the war, but after seeing the devastation firsthand, he had become convinced that there had to be a better way. He reached out to individuals from other species, hoping to find allies in his quest for peace. At first, his efforts seemed futile. The reptiles were suspicious of humans, the Sirians were dismissive, and the Greys were aloof. But slowly, he began to make progress. He discovered that many of the individuals he spoke with were tired of the war and were looking for a way out as well. Together they came up with a plan. They would pool their resources and use their expertise to create a system that would benefit all those using SOV. It was a daunting task, but they were determined to succeed. It took years of hard work and sacrifice, but eventually they succeeded. they created SVX, a new token with endless possibilities.
But the token could only be mined by building collectors on suitable terrain and transacting with, and thus burning, SOV. The different species still had their differences, but the new system with SVX
was enough for them to stop recklessly hoarding SOV and start transacting with it again. As intergalactic trade once again commenced, a ceasefire was finally reached. The war did not end overnight, but gradually, as more and more individuals saw the benefits of SVX, they decided to stop hoarding SOV. As they once again transacted with SOV and built collectors, they mined SVX, and the violence began to subside. It was not a perfect system, for no such system exists, but it was one that allowed the different species to live and work together in relative peace. After it all, SOV, the currency that had brought the different species together in the first place, was still the preferred currency for most intergalactic and interspecies trading. But after the war, it became more than that. It became a reminder of the dark times, but also of the light that could emerge from even the bleakest of situations, and the unshakable connection the species had with one another. But now, in the year 2379, the land less suitable for building SVX collectors is virtually all on a single desolate moon, and SOV has been rising at an unsustainable pace once again. Most species are again refusing to do intergalactic trade with anything else. All of these factors, alongside the greed of the different rulers, have once again combined into a force that seems will inevitably end in what can only be called the Second Galactic War. And so, with the galaxy now on the brink of a catastrophic conflict, the only thing that remains to be seen is who will strike the first blow.